Hello, it's the 28th of May. I'm so pleased you're with me again. I'm Paul Anderson-Walsh, and here we are for another episode of Renew Every Morning. Well, now, what is it we're going to renew today? Well, we're going to think about a very interesting verse from Proverbs chapter 13 and verse 20. And here's the verse: Walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm. Do you hear that? Walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm. Now, this is a timeless truth, my friends, isn't it? Do you know, in our younger years, especially if you were anything like me and you wrestled with acceptance addictions and so on, the company that I kept shaped everything. It was beyond important that I was around the right kind of people, because unfortunately I was, as a particularly a youngster, although people always said I was a leader, I was kind of quite a lot of a follower as well. I'd always got to do the things I thought I would do could get me acceptance within a group. How many parents do you think must have said down the years, it's not my child I'm worried about, it's the company they keep? That because there is a wisdom, they know very well that we are influenced by the people that are around us. I've always said I'm environmentally governed. My goodness gracious me, if I travel abroad anywhere, within 10 minutes I've got the accent of the country or the place I'm in. It's extraordinary. So the notion of being influenced and recognizing the impact of those you have around you is very important. Many years ago, I was a big fan of John Maxwell. I remember reading one of his books, I think the 21 Laws of Irrefutable Leadership, I think it was called. And he said, you'll be the same person in 5 years as you were today, except for two things. Listen to this: the people you meet and the books you read. So Maxwell's assertion is that what shapes you is the people you spend time with and the books that you read. Well, now, I'm an avid reader and I can absolutely vouch for that. And that thing really stayed with me. The truth is, most of the mentors that I've had are not people, I've never even met them. I've just read them, and I've read them avidly. People like Norman Grubb, for example, has mentored me. He doesn't even know who I am, but I was so influenced in the way I think and theologically by him, and many others besides. Years ago, when I worked in this white shoe investment firm in my 20s, I mean, it could talk about being in the grip of imposter syndrome, but I was unwittingly mentored by this brilliant ex-barrister who became a very dear friend of mine. He's the godfather of our son. And when I first worked with Tony, I used to write down the words that he used. I used to go home. I literally have to write them down phonically because I'd never heard them before, and literally scribbled them down when he wasn't looking at a piece of paper. And I'd go home and I'd study them, look them up in the dictionary, memorize what they said, memorize their meaning, memorize their application, and then I find ways to weave them into conversations. I must have done that for nearly 2 years. By the way, you can reckon that that pretty well shaped my vocabulary. And not only did it reshape my vocabulary, that vocabulary also then reshaped my entire life, because it has been able to carry me to places that otherwise I would have never been. So it's an interesting point, because unlike him who was educated, I wasn't educated, but I have intelligence. But you put me in an environment with educated people and I'll be able to absorb it. It's very interesting. And that's why the scripture says, walk with the wise and you'll become wise. That's exactly right. Walk with the wise and you'll become wise. Now, here's the thing, isn't it? This isn't just a little metaphor. In Hebrew, the idea of walk with is about sharing a rhythm of life. So it's not just some sort of odd connection. The walk is it's literally to be kind of grounded and relationally aware. So you're kind of in lockstep with somebody. And here the idea is about recognizing that if you're a companion, if you walk with fools, unfortunately you'll suffer harm. Well, that's true, because the reality is that those who walk in wisdom don't suffer harm, not the way that the people who walk in folly do. And harm sounds a bit dramatic, doesn't it? But and I guess that it says it for a good reason. But it's a kind of it's really more about a kind of quiet unraveling, I suppose. It's really more to do with a lack of clarity. It's more to do with a loss of direction. And that's the point he's saying. If you walk with fools, that's what will happen to you. So remember now, your future is being shaped by the people you walk with and the wisdom you absorb. So just hold on to that. What do you read? So maybe, with great respect to our modern generation, maybe you want to kind of reduce your diet of TikTok intakes and actually read something that has a potential to bring you wisdom. And this echoes into the absolute heart of ancient wisdom. Make for yourself a teacher, acquire for yourself a friend. And that's so important, because how do you learn? That's the point. So remember that, because it's super, super important. So where you're going, remember that? Just look. You look at where you're going, and whatever makes sense to you, you'll see. Just a pattern will emerge for you. You'll see that. Small steps, quiet choices, gradual formation. But it's bit by bit, conversation by conversation, exposure by exposure. Do you know, it's really interesting. I remember, again, reading years and years ago, Anthony Robbins. I think I've read or heard, I can't remember where it was now. But anyway, the point was, he was talking about, he's this sort of super duper guru bloke, and he was talking about this. He got stuck with this thing, and somebody said to him, "So who's in your mastermind group, Anthony?" And they have these, dreadful conversations these sorts of people have. And he said, "Well, everybody in my mastermind group is a millionaire." And the guy said, "Oh, well, that's your problem. You've got limited thinkers in your mastermind group." And he kind of recoiled a little bit. So, what do you mean limited thinkers? He said, "Yeah, you need some billionaires in your mastermind group." And it kind of popped something in his mind. And I think it's a really, really nice idea. It's a really simple idea, but it's a good one, which is, who are you spending your time with? Who is influencing you? It is a really, really nice and simple point. All right, so that's it. So today, the question is a real simple one. Who are you walking with? Do these people stretch your spirit? That's the question. Are you becoming the kind of person that other people want to walk with? In other words, are you becoming wise yourself? Now, let the wisdom of the wise shape your particular rhythm and your way of walking. And in that, you'll be renewed. Well, look, I hope if anything here has stirred you and you've been encouraged by this, you know what to do. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, and so on, so you'll never miss another episode. And thank you so much for being with us. I always appreciate that. And I hope from these little kernels of truth, you're getting something that can be useful to you. All right, well, be a blessing. God bless. Bye-bye.